Hey guys, how's it going? So I want to share my thoughts on this guy's video. He made a video saying that he thinks High Tide stock long term is going to go over $50. I'm going to play a little bit of his clip and then I'll talk more about it. So let's begin.
Bigger. At the same time, their organic growth, in-store sales are going to continue to increase quarter over quarter, year over year. It's a process. Given that, there is a tremendous amount of upside potential with High Tide. What I'm going to do is break down how does this stock get to 50 bucks. But it's not an event. It'll get there, and then it's going to keep on going. Let's jump into the computer. Before we get started looking at High Tide, three things. First off, if you first stop at this channel, my YouTube channel, thanks so much for stopping by. What we do here, I'm a value investor. I've been in the markets for some 32 plus years, dealing with and investing in stocks. I cut my teeth in FX, was a hedge fund manager, been doing this since the early 1990s.
So you heard him, right? He's been in the markets for a long time. He was a hedge fund manager. So he's somebody that is very, very experienced in the market, unlike me, who's a nub. I mean, I've been in the market for what? 15 years, maybe? 16 years? And, I feel like the last 2 or 3 years, not even the last 2 or 3 years, like the last year, I've learned more information than I learned probably my previous 15 years. Because my previous 15 years, I wasn't really paying attention to the markets. All I did was bought AMD and held it, and then bought Aurora and got lucky on it. And that's just my story. But I've learned a lot more about the markets over time, and I'm always consistently learning. But some people might call me an idiot. It's fine. Fair call. I might be an idiot. I don't know at the end of the day. I'm no expert. All I can do is, make my own predictions and I make videos about it. And my videos might be completely wrong, might be ramblings of an idiot, but some people might think it's not. Who knows? At the end of the day, nobody's perfect, no one's smart, no one knows it all. But this guy, he probably knows more than most of the people watching my videos. So, and then I'm going to, go over to where he talks a little bit more in depth of High Tide. So I think it's around 30-minute mark, and then I'll talk more about it. So let's begin.
Good cannabis company. You're making a product. You've got a couple places you're selling it. And given that, what avenue do you have to sell it out of? If you're just producing, you've got to rely maybe on the government. Up in Canada, they use a lot of government-run kind of dispensaries. With High Tide, they are the dispensary. That's huge. So they have the ability to sell 100% of their product through their own dispensaries. And they're going to continue opening more and more and more dispensaries. I think I saw they're going to be hitting triple digits here real soon with their dispensaries. They're going to continue that process. COVID kind of knocked them around a little bit with openings and things like this, but we're moving forward. I think even the Canadian borders finally opened to traveling up there, so they're getting to the point where this isn't going to be that big of a deal. As they continue to open up these dispensaries, they're going to do two things: incur costs, but create revenue. At the same time, as more product gets worked through their grow facilities and things like this, what that's going to do is continually improve their metrics because they're doing bigger volume. All right. By doing bigger volume, they have the opportunity to really improve those metrics, and they will get there. All right. Their printing 38.5% gross margins. They know they're low, but they're incurring costs as they're opening up these dispensaries. So it's sort of a give and a take. If you looked at where they are right now, this is a $50 stock if they had excellent metrics, but they don't. Instead, what they have is a footprint that's continually expanding. And when you weigh those two things, when you sit there and say, you know what, as they sell more and more product, their margins are going to improve more and more and more. Even if we throttled this back and said, you know what, let's bring it down to a 50 times forward multiple simply because their metrics aren't there. This still puts the stock at $25. It's trading at $6.25 right now. I do not expect this to happen overnight. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. And if you looked at owning this stock as exactly that, getting involved in High Tide, sitting there saying, you know what, that's a company that I know is working hard. They're growing. They're going to get their metrics in a much better place. And they're probably right now on a $200 million US dollar run rate over the next 4 quarters. It's exactly what I'm going to be looking at. Can they hit 200 in the next 4 quarters? Can they hit 225? And the answer is probably. They're probably going to blow that out. Given that, remember, they're EBITDA profitable. All right, they gave us guidance for this year for $110 million. They're already blowing that out. They're already looking at, probably 165, 160 in actual revenue. Their guidance was for 110. So being EBITDA profitable, that's where it really boils down to. And I know I keep talking about that, and I know I've seen a lot of light bulbs turn on. I get messages from you guys. You sit there and say, I finally get it. I finally get it. Great. Awesome. Really happy. Now you can see, you can utilize that as that tool. And you can probably look at High Tide and sit there and say, this is a stock that if I sit on for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, it's going to blow past 50. This is a long-term investment that if you hold on to it for a very long time, you don't have to do any more work with investing. This is it. This is a company that is going to put it together. And I also want to say one more thing. I could easily see this company get acquired. Innerspirit got gobbled up by Sundial. I don't have any information on that, although I have bantered this with people and they've come back at me saying, did you know that a certain board of director member knows this person because of this connection, that, and they're probably talking. High Tide will probably not last 1 to 2 years on its own. They'll probably merge. And my hope is it is one of these very impressive USS MSOs, such as TrueLeaf, CureLeaf, Cresco, something like that, where those companies look at this as an excellent opportunity to enter into Canada. Again, I don't have any information on that. It sure would be awesome. In the meantime, if you're sitting on High Tide, you're sitting on a long-term winner. I want to say thanks for stopping by. If this is your first time...
So, first of all, he says that High Tide has growing facilities. They don't have growing facilities. They are just a pure dispensary. But if they, they could acquire a company in Canada, it makes them into a growing, into a mixture of a growing facility, like a grower and a dispensary. Just like how Sundial acquired Inner Spirits, High Tide could, acquire something similar to Sundial growers. So, and then be a grower and their own dispensary. And then their margins would dramatically increase in a big way. But again, this is only just my opinion, and we'll see what happens. But I think High Tide is, I think there's nothing wrong with High Tide. It's not a broken company. They're making profits and they're continuing to grow, and one day they'll have their light in the sun, and investors who hold it long term, you could one day benefit big time. Short term, I don't know what the stock price is going to do. It could pull back, it could skyrocket. It all depends on what investors are willing to do. Who knows? Maybe the retail people who are pumping AMC will look at High Tide and pump it in the future, and we could see High Tide be the next GameStop. Who really knows? And be a $200-300 stock. That would be amazing, but I don't think that's going to happen. It could happen, but I don't think so. Anyways, that is it for my video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for future updates and have a great day. Bye.